So I'm Anne Louise Kershaw. I'm a programme producer at home. I'm also a writer, artist, curator and activist of sorts. My chosen writer is David Wojnarowicz. So I'm going to talk about Close to the Knife, which was published just before he died. He died of AIDS-related causes in 1992. It's a memoir of disintegration, well, not just for me. I mean, the book is a proclamation of shame, stigma, sex and death, basically. In the introduction by Olivia Lang, she writes, if silence equals death, then Wojnarowicz knows in his bones that the opposite is true. Noise is life and art is noise. And this novel is loud as hell. It screams at you and it screams down your throat, which is exactly right, because everything that he's saying is of vital importance. So Wojnarowicz, as an artist and as a writer, really wanted to express what was true and honest to him. He is literally like, he has an allergic reaction to anything that is false, and that is part of what he rebels against. There's a wonderful line in this, which I think really sums him up, which is, I want to throw up because we're supposed to quietly and politely make house in this killing machine called America and pay taxes to support our slow murder. And I'm amazed that we do not run amok in the streets and that we can still be capable of gestures of loving after lifetimes of all this. I can't think of anything more poignant and relevant to be reading now, basically. You know, we're surrounded by political turmoil, by people struggling, by basically the political climate. This is America in the 90s, and here we are in UK in 2020. What the hell has changed? This book is full of a rage that when I read it, I really, really needed. I started this book, and instead of reading it in a day, which I could have easily done, I kind of went back and forth and looped through it, so that I didn't actually end up finishing it for about 4 or 5 months. David, for me, gave voice, like I say, to this rage, and he gives a dignity to stigma and to disease and to who he is and who we are, which I found really necessary and very good for me. And I think it's very good for us to have somebody to channel that and to encourage us to do just the same. His writing, as with his activism, it's raw, it's visceral, it's chaotic, it's running on nerves. But as I say, it's always exactly what is right. He is talking with his eyes wide open, and it's deeply, deeply personal, which of course ourselves and our politics and our sexuality is. There's a lovely line in it though, which I think, you know, you could think that it's all just anger, it's all just rage, which there is nothing wrong with that. But it's also sexual, sensual, sensitive. He says, I've been told my whole life I'm too sensitive. As if you can turn a tap off and feel a little less sensitive for the rest of your life and everything will be okay. Too smart, too sensitive, intuitive. As if it were derogatory. Excuse me, that's what I am. I'll spend my whole life trying to maintain this rather than trying to turn it off. And I think that ultimately, whether you're sensitive and quiet or loud and full of rage, you shouldn't turn it off, and he doesn't in this book. And I'll finish with a paragraph from his book. I'm tipping over the edge in slow motion. In the moment of my orgasm, I'm losing myself. I become vaguely aware of his hands cradling my skull and his face appearing out of the hot sky leaning in. Or else he's pulling my face up close to his and I'm breaking the mental and physical barrier. I'm listening to my soul speak in sign language or barely perceptible whisperings. And I'm lost in the idea at the exact moment of the kill. The owl's eyes are always closed and I feel his tongue burning down my throat, and the car is in a seizure and he's smacking me in the face to rouse me from this sleep, leaning in close again like something on the screen of a drive-in movie, his lips forming the whispered sound, where were you? And had a cop car pulled up at that moment and had I possession of a gun, I'd have not thought twice about opening fire.